Hey up, welcome back to the Man Cave Workshop. Okay, let's carry on with this radio. So in the last videos we recapped the amp board and the radio itself. Now I was thinking while I was recapping it, if you look back to the first video, there's 3 of these radios kindly donated by Simon's World. And one of them didn't appear to be picking up on medium wave and long wave. So what I did a bit of research, and on the forums it tends to point to a transistor up here, which is, I think it's T2, it's either up here, on the AM board. Apparently, I mean, these aren't AF117s that suffer from the tin whiskers. These are, I think they're lock fit transistors, but what people are saying is that even these, after time, they have a lifespan, and the legs, I think they said the legs start to corrode and they fail. So I am going off tangent a bit, but we are talking about RP25s, 25As. So later on, I think we'll have a look at that set and see if it's anything else, and possibly it's that transistor. I think they're B194s written on here. Lock fit transistors, I think, and they say a good replacement is a 2N90. I can't remember. I've ordered some anyway, just in case. They're only pennies for 10. Anyway, moving on with this radio, what we're going to do in this video is to take the dial first off, clean it all up. We're going to try and get rid of some of this corrosion. We're back on the old camera now. The other one in the last video, it's when I say camera, these are the smartphones I'm using. The other camera could do a better quality, but it seemed to saturate. The colours seem to keep going in and out. I know sometimes I nudge the camera like this, but that one seemed to be jumping all over the place. So we've gone back to the other camera. Anyway, I notice on here, like I said, there's some corrosion. Now I think that might be off a battery, a bad battery that's been left in. We're going to see if we can get that off with some methylated spirits. Otherwise we'll have to use some white vinegar and be very careful with this can that we don't disturb the cores in it. The battery snap is looking a bit tired on this, so I think what we'll do, we'll take this battery snap assembly off, and we will either use one off one of the others because we're going to make this one mint, or we'll have a go at repairing this one. So let's get the soldering iron on and get this battery snap off. Of course, I'm totally unprepared, got no tools ready, and my new toolbox is slowly getting there, slowly getting the tools back that we need. My new toolbox is looking at a mess. I should have tidied that up. So let's just clamp this wire here and heat it up, just pull it off. Totally forget where it went. I've got a bit of overhead position on the camera this time, purely because I did get the last video, I got it close up so you could see what was going on with that amp board. There we go, it's slowly coming in. Oh, that took a while to get that off, didn't it? Wait, I don't know if you if you record yourself, but I've melted the whole wire on that as well. What have I done here? I can't see properly. But it always seems to be when you start the camera rolling, things go south. Okay, I'm just going to snip that off. Let's just snip these off, because we're making a right mess there, aren't we? We'll snip them off, and that's that gone. That's the easiest way of dealing with that, isn't it? Okay. So that's that. I will clean up them, the terminals there, get the solder sucker on it, clean them up properly. I mean, in a way it helps because I can see where the red wire went, because there's still a bit of the insulation on there, and it's pretty obvious where the black wire goes. Right, let's get these knobs off now. This can be fun, and I really do not want to damage these collars on this. So here we go. Let's see if they come off easy or they don't. And of course, no, that one's well stuck on. Let's try this one. This one's come off okay. That's the treble. Try the bass came off okay. And the tuning. Ooh, that came off. Okay. So it's always on a pot, and you can damage the pots by using too much force on these. So I'm not gonna get any tools on it. I'm not gonna prise it. I'm just gonna do it with the hands only, because I really don't want to damage that pot. Wow, it feels like it's glued on. What I might do, I might pause now and get a piece of string from somewhere, or piece of wire, and slip it behind that knob and see if we can get it off that way. Okay, I nearly forgot to record then, because this looks like it's going to be a struggle, and we love a struggle. I've got a piece of wire, and the way I'm going to do it, you can see, I'm going to wrap that, because we have got a little bit of space there around the back. This collar I really do not want to damage. I don't want to damage the pot either. And I'm just going to work round and see if it will start coming. And I'm going to keep the camera rolling, because if it doesn't, you'll see the world of pain I'm going through trying to get this off. It is coming slowly. The worst thing, the most nightmare thing that can happen is the shaft comes out of that pot, and then we're in a right load of problems then. But it has to come off. Obviously it's been switched on and off as we do it. Right, what I'm going to do, I am going to squirt some GT85 down the back there, see if that helps. So just showing, I've got this GT85 and I'm just going to squirt some down the back there. There are no grub screws on these, they just come off. Look at the dirt on that. So it's got to come off, but we don't want to damage it. Really don't want to damage it. So just squirt a bit down there, put a bit more in. Let's get as much as we can. And I'll leave that for a few minutes now to settle in. Okay, I've let that GT85 soak in for a while. See, I've put loads on it. Let's give it another go, see if it comes off. No, it really does not. It does not want to move. Oh, come on. Again, no editing. Oh, there we go. It came off. No editing. It is as it is. And you can see there's quite a lot of corrosion on the shaft there. Luckily, we didn't break it, and it still all feels quite solid. So I do like to show the stuff you can come across when you're working on these radios. You know, it can get, for me, the simplest of things can cause problems. And if you're not careful, the reason, I'll show you now, the reason I use this, there's no wire in this, it's just an earth sleeve, is that if you get a screwdriver under there, or in shot, I don't know if this camera's focusing, these collars are really delicate and they're very easy to damage, and they look a real mess when they go back on if they're all crumpled up at the ends. Okay, let's get the dial face off. So this is held on by two screws. You can't see them on this side because it's so dirty. And they're oh, that was loose. They're a Phillips head. I think Phillips is the right term for this sort of screwdriver. They're really loose then. I know with Allen key sets, the Allen key is, I don't think it's the right terminology. If we're gonna be pedantic about stuff, I think they're called hex keys, but I do think this sort of screwdriver is called a Phillips head. Right, let's get the dial face on. Let's put them screws in there so we don't lose them. Let's get the dial face off and have a look. Now that looks in really good condition. I can't see usually around the edges where then, oh, they might be on this side, there's usually got scrape marks on them that need polishing out. Let's pop that on one side. I'll come back to that later. Let's have a look at in here. So yeah, it is pretty dirty. I think what I'm going to do is to get a brush. I've got one, just a paint brush. I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to brush it all, get the hoover on it to get rid of all this dust. And basically just clean it, and then we will work on the dial face. Okay. Right, so that's had all the dust taken out. You see there's dust bunnies everywhere. Looking at this, what is this? It's rather large. Can we see that dust bunny in there? Let's get that out. And these are notorious, these headphone jacks, for failing, and you get no sound out of the speaker if they do. So let's clean that out. What we're going to do, we're going to squirt a little bit of the GT85 down there. It's all I've got at the moment. I haven't got any electrical cleaner. Like I say, I'm slowly building my stock back up. I'm realising what I need, so I'm just using what I've got to hand. So let's squirt some down there. If it fails and we get no sound, I think we can pretty much be certain. I think certain that it is the headphone jack that gives a lot of problems commonly. Let's get a Q-tip. Or an earbud, as we say in the UK. And you can see all the gunk in there. I don't think the earbud will fit down that one. Let's give them a good clean out. I'm beginning to look better already. Because I've got no electrical cleaner, and I'm sure I'll get comments on this, but I found it does the job. I used to just use WD-40 on pots and things, but I'm going to use the GT85. Now, on this pot, there is a gap where we can squirt some down. I bet people are cringing now, saying you shouldn't use that, you should use deoxit and all sorts of stuff like that. But listen guys, this is what I've got, so it is what I'm using. I'm just giving the volume pot a twist round to work that stuff in. Not a lot, only put a bit in. I think the trouble is with WD-40 GT85 is it does leave a residue. Now then, can we get to the bass pot and the treble? Just about. If you look down there, we can just about get to it, and I can see the gap. Let's squirt a little bit in there. That one is either the treble or bass. When you're doing this, you can actually feel them freeing up as the stuff goes in and works its magic. I know deoxit's the real magic juice, but I ain't got none. So you can see, let me show you, that there is a gap just down there that I can get into the pot. I think there is. Well, that's where I'm squirting it anyway. And get that stuff in as well. Oh, that really freed up straight away. Okay, and we're going to do the buttons, and for that we're going to do them from, get this out of the way. How are we going to do them? Where do the buttons go? Okay, you can see them from this angle there. It's this bit here and these bits here look like squares. So I'm just going to squirt some stuff down them. Again, I'm not going to flood them. I'm just going to pop a bit in each one. Try to hold the camera in shot. And missing. And then we'll work them like a piano keyboard just to get that stuff in. Oh, this button's interstation muting. Now what it's supposed to do is, when you get in a station, when you're tuned in, you press that and it sort of hones in on the station. How it works is wizardry magic to me. I don't understand how that works. I'm just going to move this set to the side, to the other side, work this stuff in from all angles. and upside down as well. That should help. Can't do any harm. Well, it might do. People might say, you shouldn't be squirting that stuff down there. What are you doing here? Are you mad? Let's get rid of these dust bunnies. The other thing, because this GT85 and WD-40 does leave a residue, I'm going to squirt this back into the dial face, and it makes it look nice and black. Let's move these dial markers out of the way so we get behind them as well. I haven't a clue if we're in shot or anything. I am galloping along because, as I said in other videos, I don't know how much storage, how long I can do videos, but I think I get away with 20 minutes, which quite frankly is probably enough for most people listening to me and watching me waffle on while I play around with these old radios. Okay, I'm just giving you the rough sort of what I'm doing. I will, nothing hidden behind camera. I will carry on off camera and get in all the little nuts and crannies and make sure everything's clean. I want to squirt some on this Q-tip and see if it removes this corrosion. See that corrosion? There isn't a chance. I think you're going to either have to live with it or risk getting some acidic sort of white vinegar on it. But that could damage this can, and I really don't want to do that. What we'll do is I'm going to get the methylated spirits out, and we're going to clean up the flux mess that left on it. So let's get another Q-tip, and we're not in shot, are we? I'm just going to dip this in this end, and I'm going to go around all the bits where I totally forgot which caps I've changed now. All the bits on the board, just going to get it wet, give it a wipe around where I've put flux on. It was up here as well, wasn't it? Down here. Again, I think isopropyl is a better solution for this, but I am using what I've got. This is better than nothing. So once I wipe the board, I'm going to turn the tip round and use the dry end just to sort of mop it all up. I'm going to do the same on the amp board as well. Do we really want to see that? Not sure. I'm going to use the same Q-tip. I'm going to do it on camera anyway. Okay, one wet end, one wet end. The other thing when I'm working it, sometimes I nearly say bad words when I get frustrated, but then I have to remember that camera's rolling, and it's just in frustration. It doesn't do any good for anybody really, does it? Let's give this whole board a wipe over with this. A bit of clean. Because I could do also leave flux on sometimes. Not that I think I'll get it off with this stuff after it's been on for 50 years. So I'm just kind of showing what I'm going to do. It looks like half a job, doesn't it? We're going to off camera do it a bit more intricately. Okay, so that's cleaned up. Let's put that on one side. I'm going to drop the thing then. And let's get this on. Let's get it on the dial face on a soft cloth. I don't want to put this directly onto the bench. We don't want to rub any of the screen printing off the back. Is it screen printing? Don't know. We don't want to rub any of this off. Let's turn it over, get some paper towels. Again, some people call these shop towels. And first of all, I'm going to do it lightly with methylated spirits, and I mean lightly. Now, I do know that these can polish up really, really nicely. As far as I'm concerned, it depends how bad they are. And this one, apart from the light marks around the where the knobs go, Yeah, did I call them buttons when I was pulling them off? I can't remember. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes call them buttons. They're actual control knobs. If they are marked lightly like this, and they are hardly marked, you can see just a little bit of scratching, I will just use, sometimes, I haven't got any actually, T-cut. T-cut just brings that edge. If there was any deep gouges, then we'd have to get down to, if there's any gouges or scratches, we'd have to use, well, I'd use rubbing compound. You can get it from auto spare shops. If there was anything really deep, then we've got to get onto wet and dry sandpaper. Why did I do? I just squirted that GT85 on it. I don't know why I did that. It's not polish. Oh, but actually that's bringing it up quite nicely. Yeah, I don't usually squirt the WD-40 or GT85 on a dial face, but that did that by accident because I didn't have anything else at hand. That's actually, when it dries off, that looks pretty good. You can say it's actually getting it squeaky clean. Isn't it good when you just stumble on something by accident? That really has shined that up quite nicely. That you can see a few marks around where the buttons go. I will get some polish on that perhaps. I might not, might be lazy, might leave it because there are no scratches on that. Just a little bit of wear around the tuning. And to be honest, when that's on the radio, you won't even tell. I know people are going to say, no, you should do it, you should get all them tiny marks off, but I quite like it. It gives it a tiny bit of patina that it's not an eyesore. I am trying to make excuses up for myself. Being lazy, that's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to pause now because we're going to rob a battery snap assembly off one of the other radios and put it on this one. Right, okay, there's another change between the RP25A and the RP25. If you look at the, where are we? Can you see it? It's hidden down there. If you look at the volume pot on the RP25A, and I've looked at the other one, it's the same as this, it is a different volume pot on and off than the RP25. So that's just a note. Okay, and the wiring's the way it's routed up is slightly different. So anyway, that's just a note. I will get this battery snap assembly out. Okay, let's get these terminals cleaned up and get the battery snap wires wired in. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of solder, bit of flux on these just to get the old solder off. In fact, should we move the camera in close so you see what's going on? I do trust this camera more for focus than the other one. I think, is that in close enough? I think so. We'll get the solder iron and let's see if we can't clean this up. I'll tell you what, let's get rid of the FM aerial lead out of the way. Tuck it down there before burn it, which I will. Let's heat this up. See if we can't get rid of some of this old solder. There's still a piece of wire in it, isn't there? Let's get some pliers, some long nose pliers, and pull that piece of wire out there. We can see what's going on. It's good to have a bit of close-up work. See what I'm fooling around with. Nearly touched the aerial then with that. That would have been a disaster, wouldn't it? Oh, come on, it's... there we go. Sure, just pull out this wire because that's really hot now. I just don't want it to drop into the set. Oh, come on. Nope, it's not. Playing ball. I've got to clean this up. We can't leave it like that. It's a mess. Let's get some more flux on it. Yeah, nearly burnt that then. That would have been another disaster. The other thing as well, if you're soldering and you can smell chicken, you're probably burning yourself. Okay, let's give this another go. Oh, this solder socker's got all bits in it. I think this is wrapped round this wire. More solder. These things are here to test us. I've got to clean this terminal up. Oh God, come on, please. Oh no, I was touching the other terminal, it's all going wrong. Oh, for God's sake. Right, that's it. I'll put some fresh solder on it. Sometimes when you put fresh solder on, it helps. I think we've been on it for about half an hour, haven't we? Right, where's that solder sucker? What is it doing? That wire's wrapped round, isn't it? Oh dear. Oh dear. I wonder if we take this wire off as well, it might make it easier to see what needs to come off and what needs to stay on. I'll keep the camera rolling. Have I touched that? Very lightly I've touched it. Luckily it's only marked it slightly. It's like a rubber collar on the end. Right, no, I'm going to bodge it. I've had enough. Patience is running thin. I'm going to make more of a mess of that. We're trying to... I mean, all that heat on it, blimey, that can't have done it any good. I'm going to tin this wire up. I am going to make this a safe solder joint, but I'm going to sort of wrap it around here. Let's get them. Get a good mechanical joint this way, because that solder ain't coming off it, and it's not frayed too much. In fact, I need to tin the end of this, don't I? Because that's going to all fray as well. Okay, let's get the end of this tinned so it doesn't fray. I'm trying to put the solder around it now. Oh God. Right, let's go this way in. And it has frayed, hasn't it? It's got a little fray there. We can melt that in after. Let's bend that wire around. Move it up there so we don't get any shorts on that terminal next to it. Okay. So we have a good mechanical joint. And now we're just going to solder it on. Bodge it and leg it. Let's see if we can get this neater. I did warn you that the most simple things can get me in all of a struggle. That's better, that's nice and tight on there. And then we'll solder that on now and then snip it off. Glad I've got the close-up on so you can see what I'm doing. think somebody in the last video said it almost looked like expert work. Well, look at this now. Jinx me, jinx me. Nice joint on there. Should we get a big blob of solder on it? There we go, that ain't going nowhere. I shall cut these the actual legs off there now, so it looks neatish. Not the end of the world. I mean, look at this one here that Hacker did. I mean, they are good, but this is probably going to look neater than that one. And do you know what? I've just realised I've soldered the positive onto the negative. Oh, what fun. Okay, I'm gonna pause the camera, get it off and do it correctly. Okay, we've got the correct wire now soldered on. It doesn't look too bad. It's a bit lumpy, but seen worse, it'll do its job. It ain't going to come off. But if you excuse my terminology, what a balls up that was turning out to be. Let's have a go at the live wire now. See if we can clean this up. I don't know if you can see it. Let me tilt it up a bit more and you can see what's going on. Perhaps get the camera in really close. Okay, let's heat this solder up. Oh, there we go. See, this one played ball really nice. No problems whatsoever. First whack and it's all clear. Why didn't the other one do that? It's probably because I wasn't going to film this bit. I was just going to say, right, I've put it on the right one. Okay, let's tin this wire up. I don't know whether to fit a tie strap in somewhere. Just in case this ever gets yanked when the batteries are in it. Stop these falling off. Okay, let's get some flux on. Let's tin this up. Again, tinning techniques might be different to how you do it, but this is how I kind of do it this way. And it works most of the time. Get that tinned up. Stick wire in thole. Which way should we go? We'll go from the bottom up if we can. So we can snip any excess off. Let's get the plate. I'm going to struggle again, aren't I? Will it go through? Will it heck? Not a chance. Join me later when I'll be doing some of that intricate, is it SMD work? If I can't do this, I ain't got a chance with that stuff, have I? Okay, let's see if we can heat it up, get it through the thole. Oh my good lord. My giddy aunt. Will it go? Yay! We're through. Okay, big round of applause. Let's push it back through the hole again. Let's bend that over, get a good mechanical joint. Solder this in and pretend it never happened. Let's pretend none of that ever happened. Let's edit it out of the video and never show that, because nobody will say, oh, you look like an expert again, will they? All good fun, eh? Can't even get the solder to go on this now. Come on. There we go. I think that's safely soldered on. I'll trim the excess off and let's swiftly move along, eh? Right, okay, that's the battery snaps soldered on. Quick 10-minute job, dead easy that. Nothing to see here, move along, was easy, no problems. I've just put the dial face back on so I don't lose it. Everything's looking a lot cleaner. I'm going to put the knobs into just warm soapy water for a few hours, let them soak, let them get nice and clean. So that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been different, eh, to say the least. Anyway, keep the comments going, love it, and hope to catch you in the next one where we'll be moving on to the case. Things get a bit more serious than the case. Has to look pristine, to say the least. So, Catch you in the next one. Take care.